Continuing from the previous episode 1720. Damn it. Are you crazy? Seeing Xiao Yan's whole body filled with dazzling golden light, the master of Li's soul couldn't help shouting, and there was a trace of deep anger in his voice. In order to consider that Xiao Yan's human body is only 5-star fighting immortal strength, his peak strength is likely to directly burst Xiao Yan's body, so the Lord of Li's soul just used acacia-broken enteric inflammation to severely wound himself. All of this is in order to prepare for Xiao Yan. How could he have imagined that the fluctuations in the golden light pattern emerging from the forehead of Xiao Yan's body had surpassed the power that 6-star fighting immortals could possess? Roar! The power contained in the light pattern is still increasing like a sleeping giant dragon, which makes the Lord of Li's soul have a very strong premonition. If Xiao Yan is allowed to continue for so long, I am afraid that the power he calls out is likely to surpass himself. The guardian power of the Xiao clan is the 10 Temple Yama, and the so-called 10 Temple Yama are 10 human powerhouses. Among the 10 human powerhouses, many of them may be weaker than the Master of Soul Li, but with the experience of Master of Soul Li, it is naturally clear that among the 10 halls of Yama, there is indeed a reincarnation level powerhouse. Once Xiao Yan calls it out, I am afraid that my perfect plan can only end in failure. At this moment, the Lord of Li's soul was really panicked, and he finally tried his best. If the bamboo basket was empty in the end, it would be unacceptable to the Lord of Li's soul. Little bastard, I won't let you do it so easily. Thousands of ghosts eat the heart. Seeing Xiao Yan self-consciously awakening the unparalleled superpower hidden in the clan lines, the Master of Li's soul let out a low roar, and countless dark red powers rushed out, immediately surrounding him, forming tens of thousands of ferocious ghosts. The army of ghosts is mighty, and every time it moves, it will carry a suffocating suffocation, and the impact revealed invisibly is even enough to move mountains and rivers, turning them into a flat ground. Not good. Yu had just recovered from his surprise and lost his voice, and suddenly looked at the nearly 10,000 scarlet pupils among the tens of thousands of ghosts. The density was so dense that the hairs all over his body stood upright, so the number, such a huge power, is probably enough to easily obliterate Xiao Yan in an instant. Extinction of the underworld dragon. And just as these ferocious ghosts with a mighty gloomy aura tried to get close to Xiao Yan to obliterate him, a roar that pierced through the sky shone in this retreat. Boom! A giant dragon surrounded by dark green aura appeared, and immediately spewed out. A long flame of flames directly broke a gap in the dense army of ghosts, causing these guys to stop moving for a while. Boy, don't worry, this guy, I will entangle him. The dark green dragon said. Seeing Xiao Yan's face in pain, and the blue veins bursting out on his body, it is obvious that the kind of torture that needs to be experienced in order to awaken the protective power of the Xiao family is appalling. Thank you, thank you. Xiao Yan forced a wry smile and said to this mysterious powerhouse. He naturally knew that this guy was the mysterious powerhouse who had been helping him secretly, and immediately his whole body included the power of blood. At that time, it will irrigate the golden light pattern on his forehead. In the soul realm just now, the light group at the spiritual palace is naturally something left by Xiao Xifen. Unfortunately, with his method, Xiao Yan could not detect some things left, but it was the light group that made Xiao Yan clear. He realized that the guardian power of the Xiao clan had always been floating in his clan lines, and if he wanted to wake them up, he could only use the power of the blood of the Xiao clan, so now Xiao Yan is constantly flooding his own blood and fighting qi. I irrigated it against the clan lines on the forehead. For a time, a giant dragon-like aura went from weak to tyrannical, and Xiao Yan always felt that the protective power of the Xiao family did not seem to be sleeping, but half suppressed by the seal. As for how this thing escaped to Xiao Yan's forehead is on the clan mark, Xiao Yan was not clear for a while. Oh! After a while, a piercing pain filled Xiao Yan's body. It was a pain that penetrated deep into his soul and emanated from his bone marrow. Xiao Yan didn't know what kind of power this was, but Xiao Yan knew that if he wanted to awaken the power of guardianship, he had to experience this pain, and he could clearly feel that every time he poured into his forehead with the energy of his own blood and fighting spirit. Among the clan lines, a majestic and vast force slowly recovered. Xiao Yan's heart was beating violently. It was because Xiao Yan had experienced countless dangers, and he did not have the power to tremble like today. This tremor originated from the bone marrow, penetrated deep into the soul, and even the blood of the Xiao family in the body solidified, including every inch of skin on the body, as well as cells, without exception. At this time, Xiao Yan's mind was blank. He just conveyed power like a machine, maintaining his last shreds of vitality. Once that power was interrupted and destroyed by anyone, I am afraid that Xiao Yan would be wiped out in an instant. Keep your mind, use blood as a guide, use strength as a supplement, and inject it into your clan pattern. At this moment, a mighty voice came from the dark green dragon, pouring into Xiao Yan's mind. The overlord of the demon world? Black evil dragon wolf? The dark green man who suddenly appeared beside Xiao Yan, the lord of Li's soul, who was constantly attacked by Yu couldn't help roaring. Humph! The master of the dignified soul domain will also use such despicable methods. It seems that the master is right. Lord of Soul Li, it should be killed. The dark green man saw this, without any fear. A trace of dark green aura wrapped Xiao Yan, and immediately stared at Lord Li's soul with vigilance. Damn it. It seems that the last time I attacked the demon world, I still failed to wipe out the evil spirit of the monsters in your demon world. Next time, I will completely wash your demon world. The Lord of Li's soul is quite familiar. Don't worry, until the master completely breaks the seal, it will be the day when your Li soul territory is destroyed. Heishan Longling also said with a crazy tone. We joined forces to entangle him temporarily. This little guy still needs a little time. Seeing Xiao Yan's motionless situation, the Heishan Longling came to Yu and said, he is very strong, and he has touched the reincarnation. Even if he is seriously injured now, the two of us cannot defeat him. Yu shook his head. It was obvious that what she devoured just now was the origin of her master. Some special secret techniques to improve strength, so I have the power of the 8-star fighting immortal for a while, but this power has too many sequelae, and even the strength cannot be improved at all in the future. Will be willing to use. Do not care. Do it. As soon as the two of them finished speaking, they immediately joined hands to deal with the Master Li, and for a while, the end of this place became confusing again. 10 Hall Yama, the Hall of the Five Kings, Xiao Sensheng. Just as the three launched a strong attack, Xiao Yan's heart, through the golden light pattern, slowly saw a few ancient obscure words on his forehead and between his brows. A few small words seem to have some kind of magic power, and they are also the fluctuations of reincarnation. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 1721. The place of retreat, the dark green demonic energy of the black evil dragon and wolf, the dazzling soul power, coupled with the unpredictable power of space and the power of ghosts of the master of the soul, turn this place into a real purgatory. Even the swallowing flame crystals that could be seen everywhere in the past have long been broken, and the complete land has become shattered. On the other hand, Xiao Yan knew that the situation was urgent, and immediately continued to exert his power to call on the power of the clan pattern's protection, and that call was almost at the end. Little guy, you did a good job. Xiao Yan was enveloped by the dark green demonic energy, and all the destructive energy could not spread to Xiao Yan. At this time, a gentle voice bathed within a few meters of Xiao Yan's body. Senior. Hearing this voice, Xiao Yan couldn't help but tremble in his heart. Obviously, the source of this voice came from the clan lines between his eyebrows. At such a young age, to be able to reach the present level, even at the peak of our Xiao clan, such talented people are only a few hands. If the elder brother knew about it, I would be extremely excited. The voice just fell, a thin face. The man was suddenly bathed in a black light and descended from Xiao Yan's eyebrows. The younger descendant of the Xiao clan, Xiao Yan, see Lord Xiao Sensheng from the Palace of the Five Kings. Seeing this guy appearing in front of him, Xiao Yan just wanted to fold his fists and salute, but his legs suddenly softened and he almost knelt down, apparently in order to wake up the guardian. It consumed too much of Xiao Yan's strength. Our 10th Hall Yanluo is to evade the pursuit and seal it independently. This time I can break through the seal, thank you. Just as Xiao Yan's body was about to fall, a warm big hand supported Xiao Yan and smiled. The man who supported Xiao Yan was a handsome-looking man. The man was quite young. He could not tell his true age just from his appearance. Clothes. The black patterned holy clothing is filled with extremely terrifying dark lines, and circles of dark shackles surround its holy clothing, which is evil and exudes endless evil, just like a real demon. Senior, please. Feeling the gentle force from the man in front of him pouring into his body, the depleted power in his body came back to life like bamboo shoots after a rain. With Xiao Yan and this guy so close, naturally it was because he felt the same bloodline fluctuations in some guys, and at the end of the sentence, Xiao Yan's voice actually became choked up. In the past, Xiao Yan felt that the strength of the 10 Temple Yama was average, but at this moment, Xiao Yan just realized that the 10th Temple Yama's tyranny, only people from their own clan can feel, the rumors about the strength of the 10 Temple Yama from foreigners, etc. It's all nonsense. Don't worry, you've done a good job, leave the rest to me. Seeing the traces of remorse that emerged from Xiao Yan's heart, Xiao Sensheng comfortably comforted him. Thank you, senior. Xiao Yan was relieved when he heard the words. But my body is still in the sealed land, so I can only use your body to solve the current situation, okay? The next moment, Xiao Sensheng asked. It's okay, senior please. Xiao Yan said casually, since that's the case, the oppression given to you by the Lord of Souls, let you, this little guy, take it back in person. It can be regarded as some reward for you to wake me up. Furthermore, I have some hatred between the Xiao clan and the Li Soul Master, so it's time to do a good calculation. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Sensheng turned into a meteor, strung into Xiao Yan's body. For a time, Xiao Yan's pupils were filled with a deep darkness, as determined as a real dark night, and full of endless killing. A true king, conceived and born. Half cycle. Although Xiao Yan's body was temporarily borrowed, the two also needed some time to get in touch, so the battle outside had reached a white-hot stage. This guy really has a lot of backers. Outside the arena, on the body of the Heisha dragon wolf, there were traces of demonic green blood flowing from many conspicuous wounds. It was obvious that he was fighting against the Lord of Li Soul. The gap between them is already very obvious. On the other hand, looking at you or on the side, the dazzling soul body around the body also became a little illusory. Obviously, the two, one person in the early stage of the 8-star fighting immortal, and one person in the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortal, the two teamed up to deal with the complete 8-star fighting immortal Master Li Soul. Even if it was even with his serious injuries, he was still struggling. Two wastes, wasting my time. As an ant, it is the best choice to wait quietly for the destruction. After so many struggles, in the end, it is only a fall. Why bother? The Lord of Li Soul held a pink flame in his hand, surrounded by countless scarlet ghosts. Like an emperor who controls the entire kingdom of ghosts, he contemptuously said. Although the Lord of Li Soul is tyrannical, in my master's eyes, it's just a drop in the ocean. Seeing that the Lord of Li Soul was pressing hard, Heishan Longling laughed instead. The king of the demon world, the name of the demon emperor is certainly tyrannical, but even those strong men who have entered the cycle of reincarnation will break my hand in the end, which is really a pity. You two, fall. Yin soldier Wu Lei, Lei Lai. Seeing that the two of them were covered in scars, but full of fighting spirit, the master of Soul Li sneered. In the face of absolute strength, everything is just child's play. Boom! The voice just fell, and immediately above the sky in the retreat place, a sky curtain was directly torn apart by the Lord of Li Soul, and then a smear of gray thunder, with the power of destruction, filled out. Chi-chi! These gray thunder powers actually came from the Thunder Master's power. If they were controlled by the Master of the Soul, it would probably be enough to cause a real killing move to the two 8-star fighting immortals. Now, it's troublesome. Looking at the countless scarlet eyes and the gray thunder in the sky, the expressions of the Black Devil Dragon Wolf and Yu-Ur became solemn for the first time. Ow! Countless scarlet and ferocious ghosts rushed to the sky desperately, looking at the gray thunderbolt full of destruction above the sky, as if they were looking at their favorite food. Hey! With a sound, the gray thunderbolt easily pierced the ghost's body, but the ghost didn't seem to care, swallowing a trace of gray thunder immediately with an aura of resentment. Directly it roared and exploded at the Heisha dragon wolf, and the terrifying energy ripples it produced, even the 8-star fighting immortal, had to be dignified. New 81 Chinese website updates the fastest mobile terminal. HTTPS skeptical smiley face, damn it. Seeing countless ghosts attacking the enemy in such a way that they hurt 1,100 and 800, Heisha Longling and Yu-Urji became in a hurry. Xiao Yan, you kid can't be in trouble, otherwise, how can I explain to the master? When the Heisha dragon wolf resisted countless ghosts, his eyes turned slightly towards the area above the space surrounded by the dark green light. Where is it? It seems that there is an aura like the overlord of heaven and earth, which is skyrocketing at an amazing speed. Now I see who can come out to save you again? Xiao Yan, let's die here. The pink flame held in Lord Li's hand throbbed violently, as if he had encountered some fatal threat. Swiping away, a burst of black energy of destruction blasted away, trying to directly kill Xiao Yan, who was hidden in the dark green light group. It's just half a cycle. The dark green light group shattered instantly, and at the same time, a sentence of arrogance that was comparable to the sky emerged. It was a young man with a familiar face, but there was an unfamiliar aura on top of the different bodies, and even behind this guy, a very dazzling black patterned holy robe, and strands of black scales and feathers kept falling off. In its bones, revealing a sub-evil nature, showing the supreme evil power. The 2.5 reincarnations. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 1722. Xiao Yan, seeing such a vicious man in front of him, Master Li couldn't help but take a deep breath and lost his voice. The man in front of him was clearly Xiao Yan's body, but the aura in that body was completely different from before. Because of the perception of the Master of Soul Li, it was discovered that the aura on Xiao Yan's body at this time was also the fluctuation of reincarnation. Just imagine that Xiao Yan just now was still an ant that he could kill at will, but suddenly he became equal to himself, and the hostility in the Lord Li's soul became extremely violent. Ha ha ha! The power of the Xiao clan's protection has actually been reduced to devour the body of a descendant. It's really hilarious. After a while, the Lord of Li's soul laughed loudly, as if he had noticed something. Hee hee, Lord of Soul Li, are you looking for me? Hearing Lord of Soul Li smirking, Xiao Yan's expression subsided and returned to normal, and his original voice filled the air. How could it be possible? Listening to Xiao Yan's voice, the Lord of Li's soul was holding his breath. I am the guardian force of the Xiao clan. Using the hands of the descendants of the clan to obliterate you is also worthy of your name as the master of the soul territory. After a while, Xiao Yan's voice disappeared, and his expression became strange. A wicked magnetic sound. Who are you among the 10 people? At this moment, the expression of Lord Li's soul finally became solemn, and the pink flame was tightly held by him, like a great enemy. My name is Xiao Sensheng. The evil Xiao Yan smiled slightly, but his smile was filled with an extremely vast power. Xiao Sensheng? The master of Li's soul muttered to himself, but shook his head helplessly. Although Yama of the 10th Hall of the Xiao clan has a great reputation, no one knows the real name, and even the strength of its 10 people is rumored. There is an extremely powerful force among them, and even among the 10 people, there are not a few people who have reincarnation powerhouses. This guy, which one of the 10 temple Yamas is? Hearing the evil Xiao Yan say so, the master of Li's soul said cautiously. It doesn't matter if you don't know, anyway, after today, you will be completely destroyed. By the way, outsiders like to call me the Hall of 5 Kings. After the evil Xiao Yan finished speaking, he waved his big hand, and a black screen completely covered the entire space, and even the thunder cracks that appeared in the sky were instantly destroyed. For a time, countless dark lines completely wrapped this place, completely dispelling the power of thunder and ghosts, and it was as quiet as a real death zone. The power of reincarnation. Seeing that the evil Xiao Yan so easily resolved the power of thunder that he had finally collected from Duo Chifei, the master of Li's soul revealed Xiao Yan's power. First release, this guy. Seeing that the crisis was resolved, Yu Er and He Sha Long Lang looked at each other and said helplessly, obviously even the power of the 2 8-star fighting immortals, in the hands of the master Li's soul, is as if they are playing a family. Fight back. I'm afraid that only Samsara can deal with Samsara. Yu Er said in a trembling heart. The two of them may not have reached the true reincarnation yet, at best they are only half reincarnation. He Sha Long Lang squinted and looked at it. He has followed the Demon Emperor since he was a child, and the Demon Emperor was a reincarnation powerhouse who had truly stepped through the tribulation of reincarnation, so he was fortunate to have seen the tyranny of reincarnation. Naturally, he knew what real reincarnation was. The real reincarnation power was stronger than the one in front of him. The two are even stronger. The two of them today should both possess the power of half reincarnation. Because Xiao Yan has the power to protect the Xiao clan, and the Master of Lee Soul is also at the home court, plus he has acacia and broken enteritis in his hand. This half the battle of reincarnation. I am afraid there are some interesting things to see. The voice just fell, and in the sky, the arrogance of the two reached the peak. My lord has been preparing for a long time now. Whatever you say today, there will be a battle. Let's fight. I also really want to see if the rumored 10-temple Yama has the magical powers as rumored. Either you die, it will completely open my path of reincarnation. After a battle of words, the Lord of Lee Soul waved his hand, and the majestic fighting intent like a prison filled the air. Right on my mind, Lord Lee Soul, let's count our new hatred and old hatred together this time. The glory of the Shao clan is not something you can touch. Those who violate our clan will be punished in the end of the world. The evil voice is like the asterisk of death harvesting the soul in the world. Every word and sentence directly hits the depths of the human soul, which is daunting. Long, the Lord of Lee Soul raised his head, looked at Xiao Yan with piercing eyes, took a deep breath, and immediately a thunderous roar erupted from the entire void. Does this guy have the space element and the thunder element? Looking at the countless rolling thunders that lingered around the Lord of Lee Soul, the evil Xiao Yan smiled coldly. In the power, even with his half-reincarnation power, he smelled a strong sense of crisis. Senior, are you okay? Xiao Yan's consciousness resided in Do Qi at this time. Seeing Xiao Sensheng being so cautious, he couldn't help asking. This guy is stronger than I imagined. Maybe the final beheading still needs you. Xiao Sensheng spoke slowly. He knew that although he and the Master of Lee Soul were both in the state of semi-reincarnation, he himself the strength of Xiao Yan is far beyond the latter, but now that he has just woken up, and the power that can be exerted by borrowing Xiao Yan's body is extremely limited. No problem, Xiao Yan readily agreed. Look carefully and study hard. This will be of great benefit to your future path of reincarnation. As soon as the voice fell, Xiao Sensheng stopped talking to Xiao Yan, and began to control his body and launched a real attack. With the help of the black-patterned holy clothes, the evil Xiao Yan's body moved gently, and he felt that the air was not only filled with a spooky ghost, but also mixed with the terrifying coercion of the Lord of Souls. He looked at the Lord of Lee Soul. At this time, both of them were lifted into the sky. After the Master of Lee Soul performed such a method, countless flame-swallowing crystals were instantly shattered. The entire retreat site also completely collapsed, and countless gravel and dust emerged. Obviously, the hall has already begun to collapse, and it will be completely destroyed before long. After all, the power of reincarnation is not something these ordinary objects can withstand. But so what? In his dignified 10 halls, the Hall of the 5 Kings of Yama, not only did Yan defeat the Lord of Lee Soul, but he also trampled on the dignity of the Lord of his domain. Gloomy Ghost, the power of thunder, the power of space. Lord Lee Soul, what other tricks are there? Let's show them all. See, Yi is coming. Seeing the gloomy wind blowing in front of him, the Lord of Souls, who was enveloped by countless black qi, the power of gray thunder, and even the power of mysterious space, the evil Xiao Yan collapsed in the air with a weird smile. Road. At that time, in the void, countless forces made way for Xiao Yan, and at the same time, behind Xiao Yan, the black-patterned holy robe, as if it had life, began to slowly wriggle, and even grow. In a short period of time, it grew into a huge black robe that was tens of thousands of meters tall. Bang bang bang! A sound of annihilation emerged, and for a time, the entire desert hinterland, 4 temples were shattered at the same time, and the bodies of the 4 were completely subdued by the dark evil clothes behind Xiao Yan, and fell into a trap. In the realm of darkness. It's just that no one noticed that the 4 temples were shattered and destroyed. At the moment of their shattering, the black liquid was like a poisonous snake, and it slowly outlined a trace of extremely obscure ancient lines. After a while, it was hidden in the desert sand. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 1723. On the other side, the red zone in the center of the West Temple, the place of reincarnation. Since Duo Qifei let Xiao Yan leave here, the Black Dragon and Wolf also passed by silently. Immediately, Duo Qifei was going to follow Xiao Yan to the depths of the temple, trying to explore Xiao Yan's purpose, but however, he found that these 2 cliffs were full of extremely tyrannical restrictions, and this type of imprisonment was obviously aimed at himself. He had just stepped out of the Thunder Mountain and was temporarily imprisoned by the restrictions. Lord of Soul Li, a roar, like an angry lion, roared. The thunder of reincarnation was deafening. At this moment, a bad thought appeared in Btth's heart. If it wasn't for the fact that his mother was related to the Master of Soul Li by blood, it would be impossible for Btth to help the Master of Soul Li secretly, but now, a trace of unpleasant fluctuations pervades. It is this restraint that has hindered Btth for a long time. As for the other elites such as the Palace Master of the West Temple and the head of Li's Soul Guard, they have already been ambushed around the temple. A few people will be reduced to prisoners. This plan can be said to be extremely meticulous in planning by the Master of Li's Soul. For Xiaoyan, it is a situation of 10 deaths and no life. Inside the temple, in battle, Guru, with a loud voice, he swallowed hard. What a terrifying method. Looking at the 4 people who fell into the realm of darkness, Yu couldn't help but said. Just now, the black patterned saint cloth squirmed and expanded behind Xiaoyan, directly destroying other temples in the desert hinterland. At this time, the entire desert hinterland was completely shrouded. And here, it is clearly Xiaoyan's home field, and it is also in Xiaoyan's domain. The dark world formed after the black patterned holy clothes swelled. A rare dark attribute. In the realm of darkness, a roaring figure walked in the air, with countless ghosts behind him still surrounding him. It seems that no matter how the dark world devours and destroys these ghosts, the Master of the Soul will condense, and with such a huge number of ghosts, the invisible power of vision is suffocating. The evil Xiaoyan hovered in the void of the dark world, his eyes became deep and he stared at the Lord of Li's Soul, who was surrounded by countless ghosts. In that dense black ghost, what kind of body was the Lord of Li's Soul? Conspicuous. I clearly remember that during the previous World War, none of the 10 people in the 10 halls of Yama and Luo reached the level of reincarnation. After 10,000 years, the strength of the Hall of 5 Kings has reached half of reincarnation, which is really surprising. On the body of Lord Li's Soul, there are countless silver powers and black energy surrounding him, and it seems that some kind of extremely special power is brewing. His words are obviously to delay time. My clan's patriarch is a prophet. Isn't it something you can covet? Furthermore, in 10,000 years, the Master of your soul still doesn't know where you are. Xiaoyan smiled slowly, the black patterned holy clothes behind him, against the background of the realm of darkness, like a real demon, inside his body. An aura like a sleeping dragon was condensing rapidly. He naturally knew that the Lord of Li's Soul was deliberately delaying time, but he was not in a hurry, because he was the same. Starter for a semi-reincarnation powerhouse, it will take a lot of time to use the thunder technique. After all, a powerhouse of this level has already surpassed the heavens and the earth. It turns out, after the First World War, Yama of the 10 Temples was ordered by the patriarch of the Shao clan to seal himself. During the 10,000 years of the seal, his strength continued to increase, so that the first 5 kings' palaces touched the reincarnation. I'm afraid it was also the unpredictable actions of the patriarch who made Yama of the 10th palace escape. Xiaoyan's body consciousness nodded slightly in the sea of fighting qi. According to Xiao Sensheng's words from the 5 Kings' Palace, Xiaoyan also understood something. If that's the case, then enjoy the feast I specially prepared for you. Enjoy the embrace of death. After a while, Lord Li's Soul didn't hesitate. The pink flames jumped instantly on the illusory palm, and immediately the palms were folded, and some wonderful and mysterious handprints quickly appeared. Boom! With the Lord Li's actions, traces of black air diffused out, covering the countless ghosts around him. The black air is like a corrosive tide, just covering the ghosts. The power of those ghosts is skyrocketing like a soaring, the eyes are scarlet, and the violent aura shows out. Being so increased by the Lord of Li's Soul, the power of countless ghosts has greatly increased, and the numbers are stacked together. In addition to the beating of pink flames, a gate to the void slowly emerges. Ouch! A strange wave of tremors of the soul stepped out from the gate of the void, and immediately a flesh-colored object like a sphere, with countless strange tentacles appeared around the sphere, and a pair of scarlet pupils, showing endless slaughter, emerges slowly. No, but the corpse will be the corpse. Seeing this scene, Yu'er's expression shrank tightly, and he lost his voice. The corpse is said to be a summoning object with the power of the ghost world. Its power is definitely not inferior to the ghost, nor to the ghost world. It is more like a supreme creature from the underworld. The power of the 8-star Do Xian reached the peak of perfection. New 81 Chinese website updates the fastest mobile terminal. https skeptical smiley face. It is said that it is the existence of the Supreme King in the underworld, but who knew that such a terrifying existence would be summoned by the Master of the Soul like a pet? A pet under the throne of Pluto. It seems that you have a lot of ambitions. Seeing the Master of Li Soul's methods, the evil Xiao Yan said indifferently. He knew that this creature had an extraordinary status in the underworld. Except for a few underworld masters who could be mobilized, no one could order to expel it. Unexpectedly, it was actually controlled by the Master of the Soul. It seems that the Master of the Soul there is a lot of research and understanding in the underworld, ha ha ha. It's just a bunch of ignorant ghosts. Humans only know that the Great Thousand World is divided into 7 realms, but they don't know that the underworld, which is not among the 7 realms, is a huge area comparable to the human world. Once I truly set foot in the underworld, or control the underworld, the vast world, even the evil races outside the territory, will be solved. Although my exploration of the underworld is still in the first stage, it will not be a waste to kill you with this guy. The Corpse General. Kill him for me. At the end of the sentence, the eyes of Lord Li Soul were filled with madness. A Corpse General. Old man. Black Fiend Star Cage. Seeing that the behemoth in front of him moved its pace like a mountain, and every time he walked, there was an aura like the mountains and the ground, but Xiao Yan couldn't help but laugh. The world only knows that the Xiao family is the first race in the Great Thousand World, but who can explain the relationship between the Xiao family and the underworld? Wang hum. Xiao Yan's voice fell, and countless dark spots of light fell off directly from the black-patterned holy clothes behind him, and immediately turned into pieces of fluff, which permeated the entire darkness. With Yan's actions like this, after the Corpse General who had the supreme destructive power, there was a strange horror in his pupils. This breath, this power. It seems like the real giant in the underworld, who casts the realm of darkness in front of him. Who is it? Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 1724. Boom! A deafening sound permeated the entire darkness, and immediately the corpse of the ball and the evil Xiao Yan fought together. Hey! After Xiao Yan finished casting the black demon star cage, countless dark fluffs fell off the black-patterned holy clothes behind him, and immediately formed a huge star cage in the entire void. Above the star cage, countless black patterns permeate, which is derived from the special power of the underworld. Damn it, Corpse General, what are you doing? Kill him for me. Seeing the corpse's corpse remained motionless, his eyes never moved above the black star cage, an uneasy thought emerged from the main body of Li Soul. The strength of this guy, in the underworld, is the top high-ranking person. This is because the Master of the Soul has racked his brains and let Duo Qifei use the power of reincarnation to rush into the underworld and capture it back. Fortunately, he has a lot of enough power. The method of controlling it has become the real right arm of the Lord of Soul Li, but now, this guy is actually motionless, and even the corpse crystal that controls the corpse's body shakes violently, and a sense of unease permeates. Lord! In an instant, a struggling cry filled the corpse's body from the spherical corpse. Its body became extremely hard, stuck in the air, and its eyes twitched. Despicable. Seeing this scene, the evil Xiao Yan snorted coldly, and immediately stared at the Lord of Li Soul, raised his palm, a desolate aura, stepped through the void, and patted the Lord of Li Soul. Wang buzzing. Following Xiao's actions, the black evil star cage in the realm of darkness seemed to be pulled, and shot directly at the Lord of Li Soul at the speed of a meteor. New 81 Chinese website updates the fastest mobile terminal. https skeptical smiley face, space compass, transfer. Looking at the black fiend star cage with incomparably tyrannical imprisoning power, the Master of the Soul did not dare to neglect, and there were mysterious lines on his hands. Shabu! With a sound, when the black evil star cage came to the Lord of Soul Li, the void squirmed and was swallowed up by him in an instant, and calm was restored here. Controlling the overlord of the underworld by special means, if this matter is known to the underworld, I am afraid that the 10 Li Soul realm will not be able to bear his anger. The meaning of warning is obvious. Bastard, get out of here! Hearing Xiao Yan's words of evil intent, the Master of Li's soul immediately waved his hand and dismissed the corpse. He knew that, being stimulated by Xiao Yan's methods, it would not be long before it would break free of himself. Control back to the underworld. It doesn't matter to struggle, it's meaningless. One move will determine the outcome. After a while, the pink flame in Lord Li's hand was beating, and then the Lord of Li's soul said lightly. He knew that if it dragged on for a long time, it would be extremely bad for him. That's what it means. Hearing the words of the Master Li, the evil Xiao Yan also laughed. The dark attribute on his body originally originated from the underworld. The act of the Lord of Li's soul just now was undoubtedly self-destruction, but if he did not have the dark attribute, I am afraid that facing the corpse and the corpse would be a fierce battle. Come on. Seeing Xiao Yan, the rebellious evil spirit in front of him, the Master of Li's soul laughed. He laughed at Xiao Yan and Xiao Shensheng in the Hall of Five Kings living in Xiao Yan's body, because this is his own territory. Even if it is covered by the realm of darkness at this time, the two of them will not be his opponents in the end. Thunder. Lord Li's soul's eyes were stern, and his index finger suddenly pointed to the sky, turning into a giant beam of light in the sky. After a moment, the entire dark world seemed to be pulled by some kind of force, and countless mad thunder broke through the darkness. The coverage of the world, covering the sky. At this moment, in the silent world of darkness, countless thunders filled the air, completely igniting this place. Thunder was a strange scarlet color, and it seemed that with a single blow, it would be able to break through the realm of darkness, and even this scarlet thunder contained a power that Xiao Yan couldn't understand. That is the power of reincarnation. There is no doubt that the scarlet thunder is full of thunder, although it is not as good as the Thunder Master Grey Thunder, but it also contains a huge threat to the current evil intention Xiao Yan. Darkness Execution Blade. Looking at this scene, a sinister smile emanated from the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth, the black patterned holy garment floated slightly, and all the darkness in the world of darkness retreated and poured into the dark holy garment. Restored the original appearance of the desert hinterland. The Lord of Soul Li stood high in the golden desert, with countless scarlet thunderbolts surrounding him. Once the offensive was condensed, he slashed out with one finger, as if the real curtain of the sky had fallen, slashing everything in the world. And the evil intention Xiao Yan took back the realm of darkness. The black patterned holy robe was squirming, bursts of black liquid filled out, and then quietly in front of him, it slowly turned into a black broken blade that touched about an inch. There are no strange fluctuations on the black broken blade, but on the black broken blade, a huge Xiao character seems to be carefully carved out by a real god, showing the supreme evil power. And it was this extremely quiet fluctuation that made Yu and Heishan Longlang's eyes shrink tightly. They knew that fluctuations of this level could only be possessed by real semi-reincarnation powerhouses. I don't know who will win. Seeing this scene, Yu couldn't help but look nervous and prayed for Xiao Yan slightly. Strange, why are there so many tyrannical breaths emerging? But the Heishan Longling shook his head helplessly. Lei Wu Liao Yuan. With a loud shout, his fingers pointed down at Xiao Yan's location, and the supremely terrifying aura was vividly displayed. The scarlet thunder pierced through the golden desert, and the fire was shining everywhere, only to see the scarlet thunder dragon leaping down and directly hitting the evil Xiao Yan. The scarlet thunder flood dragon was extremely fast, but at the critical moment, the evil intention Xiao Yan suddenly stretched out his palm and grabbed the black broken blade in one fell swoop. Cut! A soft voice cut through the entire sky, and then the palm was raised rather jerky, and the black broken blade of the palm drew a black giant on, and the giant on was filled with countless ancient lines. Even a Xiao character, prominently. The scarlet thunder flood dragon roared directly at Xiao Yan, and Xiao Yan's figure was immediately retreated into the desert. In a short time, a huge bottomless pit poured out, and countless sands on the desert floor the grains were rolled up by the thunder. New 81 Chinese website updates the fastest computer. Behead me. Xiao Yan roared after being attacked by the scarlet thunder dragon. Suddenly, Xiao Yan, who was about to fail, was like a ferocious beast, with a black light, suddenly bursting out of the deep pit in the desert. Go away, slashing directly at the Lord of Li's soul above the sky. How is it possible? At this moment, countless scarlet thunderbolts collapsed under the black blade light, and even a solemn aura of death filled the mind of the Lord of Souls. Not good. A burst of heart palpitations emerged, and the Lord of Lee's soul just wanted to take precautions, but was directly hit by the black blade light, and he was seriously injured in the blink of an eye. Gululu. Just when the Lord of Lee's soul felt that he was about to be seriously injured, a pure white sacred halo, like a god, completely shattered the black blade light. That kind of power is not reincarnation, but it belongs to the power of light. Lord Li Hun looked up with difficulty, but saw a figure that was enough to make everything pale, and said in a lost voice, "Light." The demon of light? Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis.